going to call to order this, the library meeting, the Lincoln Parish Library Board of Control meeting. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I so move.
Second?
Second.
Move, okay. Okay, moved and second. Any comments, discussions? If none, motion carried. Okay, open for public comments. Do we have anyone who's going to give a comment today? We see two familiar faces in the audience. Jeremy? Good afternoon. Welcome. Deborah, good afternoon and welcome. Okay, seeing no other persons here, we're now going to take an opportunity to look at the approval for the minutes. Thank you for sending us the minutes too, Marcy. Appreciate that. We've had some time to read it, but if you'd like to take some additional time.
I see some errors.
Okay.
Okay.
I was 2 months in a row. What you got?
Okay, first of all, I was at that meeting as well, and my name is not up there at the top.
I'm sorry, Miss Dupree. I am so sorry.
Hello.
Anyone else? Sam's name's going to be added.
Okay,
Are there any other corrections?
In paragraph 5, should that be T-W-E-E-N-S?
Oh, under the
Twins?
tweens. Yes, that's what we call our. It's younger than teens, but older than kids.
Tweens? That's what they call
Tweens,
them.
yep.
Okay.
It's like between
Yes.
10 and...
Yep, that is correct.
And I didn't know if at the very bottom you wanted to, instead of Mr. Lewis Jones, attorney.
I could do that.
Oh, you don't have to put attorney next to our names.
Okay.
No, I wasn't talking about you though. I was talking
Okay.
about because he was our attorney.
Okay, I guess so, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just put his name. Okay.
Are there other corrections from anyone? If not, may I have a motion to approve the minutes of August 18th with the corrections to have been made?
Yes, we're correct.
Motion to approve with those corrections.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. Discussions, questions? All in favor, let's say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Thank you so much. Okay, the next item on the agenda is acknowledgement, memorial, a moment of silence for Ida Hennicott. I asked Marcy to please research for us. Most of you probably were not aware. Ms. Hennicott was a mobile bookmobile driver for many, many years. Okay? And she also was on one of the liaison committees that we appointed. Okay? She came to the first meeting, I remember her sitting back in that area back over
She was
there.
on the acquisitions committee.
The acquisitions, right, the one that Debbie was on, I think. Am I right, Debbie? Okay. So, Ms. Hennicott's funeral was this past Saturday, so I just want you to be aware of that, to know that, and just take 1 minute of silence just to honor her. Thank you. And in keeping with that, I was saying with Sandra too, I would like to, I'm gonna probably follow up by putting in the library here this book, the book that was written by Faith Hunter. This is Hazel Hunter's daughter. I'm gonna give this one in donation in the library in the honor of Ms. Honeycutt's name. It's a book on yoga, meditation, how to deal with stress. Very good book, okay? So if you're interested in it, that's why I brought it tonight, that you can get some idea. And I'm sure the Honeycutt family were pretty much impressed with the fact that we thought enough of her to add this with a book plate that will come. How you do that, Marcy? Explain it to us, please. What y'all do with
So
that?
anytime there's a memorial or honorarium, we will print out have a book plate custom printed and have the name of who's it in honor of and who it was donated by, and it goes inside the book. And so when it goes in the collection, someone checks it out, they'll know that that book was placed there in honor or in memory of that person.
Okay, the book is entitled Spiritually Fly, wisdom, meditations, and yoga to elevate your soul. And it's by Faith Hunter. We call her Faith, but her name is really Faith. Okay, I can pass it around, let you see it as well. Thank you so much.
And this is such a wonderful thing to do. Families think so much of that.
Is Faith from here or?
She
anyone
used to live
connected?
here. She's up north now, isn't she?
Yeah, she's up north.
Is she connected to Miss Honeycutt at all?
No, she's
I
not.
don't
They just,
know
she
this
just
one.
knew her.
Okay, you know Miss Hunter on the
Yeah,
board?
Hazel, yeah.
That's her daughter.
Wow. Where was Miss Honeycutt from?
Here, Ruston. She used to be on the bookmobile with Braggs, Reverend Braggs. You don't remember that?
I don't remember her, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay, all right. Next item on the agenda is the discussion for the postponement of the election and library vote. I asked Marcy to add this to the agenda to allow an opportunity to hear from board members your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs about this. As I said to someone, we have no control over it, okay? But I'd like to hear you and like for us to find out what it is your thoughts are. I can start off first of all by saying, I think it was Debbie and somebody else, when I sent my vote back in, my ballot back in, I was really kind of like perturbed too, Debbie, because that little spot at the bottom of the other 4 amendments that are in there, remember? But that little spot at the bottom is so small. So I went to Office Depot, I said, can you just print this up for us? When I go to talk to people, I'm going to take this with me as well, to tell them, that might be very small there, but this is what it is that you're doing. And you can see I also put my little vote that I voted yes for in there. Xerox that as well. But to let them see the actual wording of this and what it says. Now, Richard, do it. You're the first person.
Well, I'm going to defer to Doug Hostel. He has a little more detailed update that he can tell us about where we are as far as the effect that the delay will do and as far as the collection of the tax.
Okay, Doug.
Certainly, thank you. So we've been on the phone with various officials from the state and with our bond attorneys who also help us with these types of elections. As a matter of fact, I was on the phone with him just less than an hour ago, giving you the latest update. The election is on November 13th now, and we should be able to meet the police jury on that following Monday, November the 15th, to canvass the election and to do the other necessary legal things that the jury must do in order to move the process along to the assessor, and then he can get the information onto the proper authorities to get the tax bills printed and moved on through the process to the citizens. The main thing I want to point out is that the sheriff, who is the tax collector for the parish, tax assessor, and the police jury administration are all working very closely together in this manner to make sure that everyone is very informed about what the process is going to be looking like, to make sure everybody knows what the timeline is going to look like, and to make sure that there's as least interruption to the process as possible. But I don't see that there's going to be any great delay in anything, and we're going to make sure that everything goes as smoothly as possible.
It takes the cooperation of all three to make this.
Correct.
We got pushed back to November, really. Everybody's
Yes.
got to be.
Let's do it this way.
together.
On the first day when the governor made that announcement, I made or received 56 phone calls just on my cell phone that day, trying to get all the details worked out, and that didn't include all the text on my office phone. So there's a lot of behind-the-scenes work going on, trying to make sure that this is all going to work out. And I think it will. It's all coming into place.
So all we got to do is get it passed.
That's right.
And we have been working, and I must commend you because you have diligently given of yourselves to do the things that we've asked you to do. You've gone out and you're still speaking up. And thank you to Doug and KK and Paul that you've done to help us at this point. As I said, I think in one of the memos I sent to the board members, we can't stop now. And there may have been a reason for us having this delay. I see it as a benefit. It will give us some more time to do some other kinds of things, to work with some more people, to try to negate some of the stuff that's out there, the misconceptions that we're running into. And I would probably like to hear from somebody else before I end up with what I have to say about the misconceptions. Anyone else? Comments, Charles?
It is what it is, we'll do what we do.
Sandra? Okay, Mary Jo?
Well, first, thank you for, coordination, and I feel like that it will be a good message to the public that we're all working together, and it does give us time to continue to be positive and work.
Okay, Jan?
All right, I'm just saying that we all need to get out, talk to people, make you a list of people that you want to make sure that they do go and vote. And just talk it up in a positive way.
Attorney Amy?
Thank you, Doug, for helping us with this. That was my instant thought when it got postponed, is just how do we get it on the bills? So if we can get that done, that's good. Thank you.
We appreciate it. And I'd like to say too, take time out. This is a very good article in today's paper. Did you all see this one? By Nancy Bergeron. Nancy laid it out very, very well about what's happening. Yes, Ida came through and did a lot of stopping for us, okay? But it's not the end. We're going to move on and do some other kinds of things. And I should have given Marcy a copy so that you could have had some copies for yourself to read it. But it was a very enlightening article. She laid out everything from the beginning of what happened last time, what's happening this time, and some of the other kinds of things we need to do. So Caleb, we really thank you all as a leader for trying to help us out and get the word to the people. And I'd like to personally thank each of the board members for answering my request, that is to assist with funds being donated for the yard signs. We had a lot of compliments about us this time, and we ran out of yard signs. And I must also say thank you to the police jury, Richard, members of the police jury stepped up too, and they were passing out signs as well as we were. I thank you for your contribution to get additional signs made. I asked Jay whether or not we can do something with the ones that are currently up. That is to look at maybe doing a bumper sticker and put over the date on the front and the back. I don't know if that's possible or not, but I do know that there is an order in for 200 more signs to be made with the November 13th date that will be coming up. So I just want to say thank you.
It'd be good if they could just put a little sticker that you could stick over there, November 13th, get over that date.
That's what I'm talking about when I
Yeah,
said
that's what we're
bumper
trying to
sticker or
do.
whatever. I don't know whether, have you known whether or not he's explored that with the print company?
I don't know that yet.
Okay.
So
I mean, I know
when
it's
is some
been
more
ready.
signs supposed to be ready, do you know?
I did not get an idea, did not get a date. I can ask and check that we'll have it out earlier this time, because I know that there was a little slight delay, but we're having plenty of time for us to be able to. I'll ask him that.
But people still asking for signs.
I know.
Yeah, we have a list. We're keeping up.
Yes. Now, they may not have been placed out last time around, but this time around, the word is out, and we are seeing signs. And I'm very pleased, too. I was telling Deborah, I was back over in her section, going back over there to get me some ice cream from the Eskimo place off of Kentucky, and I saw all those signs along Kentucky. Thank you, Debbie, that talked about vote yes for the library. Any other comments or any other questions or any other concerns?
I would like for these, once they get in, for the board to be notified immediately so we can make our run before others do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And thank you too, Richard, for donating the stands for them. I understood that you gave us some stands that were apart. We don't have to order the
They've been
stands.
slightly used one time, but I don't want to use them again.
Say that one more time, Richard.
Beg your pardon?
Say what you're saying?
I say they've been used one time and I don't plan to use them.
We'll take used sign stands too. All right, thank you. Okay, moving right along. We've asked Marcy to please include it in the monthly conversations we have, a little bit about the budget. And I'm gonna wait until she finishes up, and then I'm gonna make a comment too about the budget. Okay, Marcy, go on.
So what you have in front of you is, it's pretty detailed, because you're looking at 4 different lines, or 4 different columns. So you'll have the year-to-date for the current budget. You'll have the original budget that we came into the year with. You'll have my recommendations on amendments to that budget based off of the year-to-date and sort of projections over the next few months. And then the 2022 proposed budget as we had worked with Laura Hart to develop over the past few months. So it's a lot of information, it's a lot of numbers, but I promised you guys when I got here in March that you'd have a preliminary budget in hand by September, and this is it. Now, I will say this, a majority of our lines, you will see under the year-to-date, it looks like we're coming in under projections, and it's because we have cinched things up and we have slowed down spending just to make sure that we can get through what we say we're going to get through, which, you know, we said at the end of this year we'd have enough to get halfway through the year next year, and that's what we're looking at. So basically, this is a document. We do not have to take action on it now. This is just for your review. I want you guys to get comfortable with this, to go over it with a fine-tooth comb, to come back to me with any questions. Laura has a copy of this. She and I are intending to meet to go through it as well together and make sure that everything is looking right. So if you have questions, you got a while to get familiar with it and come back to me.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Is the format for your budget different than the format that she uses?
I took her file and I took her file and I added in columns. It's the exact same thing.
Where's the marking line?
Big part.
So the print and,
Printing and binding.
yeah, that's the one we're looking at now.
What?
I asked her, where's the marketing line?
So
We're adding a marketing line out of printing and binding.
now keep in mind, we're gonna have to pull money from somewhere else to fund that. So
Out of printing and binding.
yes, but I gotta look at printing and binding and see what else is coming from there as well.
Okay.
Laura's working on a couple of, she said there was a few things like entry errors, things that they want to go in and just kind of go over and look at and make sure everything's lined out. But we got a couple of steps we got to make.
Okay. I mean, we're not putting a ton of money in that line. It's just
No.
a little bit of that printing and binding to put it in the line. So,
And then we'll have to get a code for that as well. But
So what is the schedule when we plan to adopt the budget?
originally the schedule was we do it on the 20th of October at our next meeting. But that's the other question I have for you guys is, now that the election's been pushed back to the 13th of November, how does the board want to handle that?
When do we meet in November?
We meet November the 17th. It's the following week from the election.
So
3 days after.
I suggest we wait till November.
November.
is that, doesn't there, we have to approve this and the jury has to do it, or does that affect our timeline at all with that?
Want to say that again?
Do we approve this and the jury approves this,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, so does that affect any timeline there with them, any deadlines with them, if we do it November versus October?
Typically, we would want to have your budget in November to review. However, it's not final, we don't do a final approval until December. So I think considering the circumstances of the library, it would be understandable that you would not be able to present one until December. So that would be, I think that could be taken into consideration. Mr. Durr, would you think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, then November's fine.
Even if you wanted to submit a preliminary for
Yes.
November and not not make it final till December. If you want to make some changes, we
I
can
would
do
agree
it
with
that way,
that.
and that way.
So same, it's kind of like what I'm doing now, just give you guys a preliminary for the 9th of November.
I would think that'd be
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
And we would give an explanation of this circumstance, and they will certainly understand.
Okay, all right, that can be done.
But do we need to approve, the board need to approve that preliminary before it goes to them in November, because then we need to vote on it?
I would think the board, someone correct me if I'm wrong, I would think the board could vote to present the preliminary budget to the jury in October's
In
meeting.
October?
Yes.
Okay.
And then when we come back in the November meeting, we would actually take
So
action to
when
adopt.
do we meet in November?
We meet November the 17th.
17th.
That's a Tuesday.
It's a Wednesday. November 17th is a Wednesday.
October meeting, you're gonna give us something that we could,
The October meeting, there will probably be some minor adjustments to this
Okay.
based off of your feedback and my feedback
Okay.
from Laura. And then in October, we'll vote to present that preliminary budget to the jury. We'll come back on November 17th, and it would be the hard set budget, and you would vote to adopt that and present that formally to the jury. And they would get it for their December meeting.
does that sound doable, Richard?
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. All right, and I'm glad we're doing this too a little earlier than at the last 12th hour. And I said the 12th hour, we're doing it now. Because I think in the past, we've been a little rushed and some things have happened. So now it's out clear and we're seeing that this is how it's gonna operate and this is how it's gonna work. Okay, questions, comments? Now, I wanna say something too that's happening now. I kinda like wanna come back and hope that I can meet with several of you. Let me wait till Richard and Joe finish up. Because I need them to hear this. Can we put a pin? Want to comment before you do that, what you're doing? I'm concerned, as I said to a couple of you before, there's a lot that's going on. I don't even want to say, not only the rusted ramps and all the stuff that's out there. I'm hearing so much about this $1 million budget that the library has. This past weekend, I was accosted by a very high-profile community leader. Is it true that you all have millions of dollars you're sitting on? That's right. Is it true that the library has millions of dollars that you're sitting on?
Oh, yeah, it's under the floor here.
And I said part of it, I said, no, we don't have millions of dollars, but I think if you're smart enough to know that we do have some dollars that are and by law must be in reserve, remember? You must keep some of that, but it's not at that point that I think it's out there with the perception of people in the public. I heard it again today when I went to Office Depot.
Well,
So I'm asking the board members, let's think about how, if it's even possible, to put our heads together and come up with some strategies on how we can counter some of that negative about the $1 million budget that the library has. Richard?
the budget that we have, that we propose, is gonna be about $1.9 million. We'll have a surplus at the end of this year with no taxes of about $1 million, which will run us about 6 months for next year. Those are round numbers. That's the bottom line. Yeah, we got about $1 million left this year. We got on the last half a year.
Yep.
And you don't collect ad valorem taxes till the end of the year. So if the tax does not pass, that $1 million till next year, that's all we'll have. Am I right, Doug?
Correct.
That's correct.
Doug,
We need to make sure people understand, and there's no question about this. If this millage renewal does not pass, this library has enough money to operate approximately to the end of June, and there is no more dollars for operation. Period. End of sentence. There's no magic bag of money somewhere that we can dip in and continue operations.
They look at the fund balances in the financial, like, beginning of the year was, they say $3 million. Well, that tax is collected. It's when the tax is collected and when it's spent. We need Laura to explain that. It gets complicated, but, while we're at this point, can I do something else a little longer?
Sure.
Doug, why don't you introduce the new financial manager
I was
of the
gonna
police
do-
jury, so that everybody will know he's working with Laura here full-time now.
You know, we always talk about Laura, and Laura's come several times and talked to this board, and many of you know
Yes.
that Laura is a contracted employee with us, so she works with us on a contracted basis as kind of a financial consultant for us. Michael Sutton is a new full-time police jury employee. He's our new financial manager. Michael is taking over the day-to-day financial operations of the police jury. Laura is still working with us on a limited contractual basis, kind of doing our high-level CFO type responsibilities. But Michael is the one that will be working on taking over the great lion's share of those responsibilities. So he's the one that will be working with this board on a day-to-day basis with your financial needs going forward. And we're glad to have him as part of our team. He'll be a great asset to both the police jury and to this group.
We welcome you, Michael, and we do look forward to working with you.
Absolutely. I look forward to meeting all of y'all and working with all of y'all as well.
I can hear you.
I look forward to meeting and working with all of y'all as well.
Okay,
For
sounds
sure.
great.
Yes, ma'am.
Sounds great.
So should we contact him instead of Laura now?
He would be the first point of contact, yes.
And then maybe
Then if there's something that he cannot handle as questions, then he'll forward those to Laura and get answers for him.
Realize he's got a little time to make the transition, so.
Right, and well, that's kind of I think you'll do a fabulous job. My just concern is that we've done a lot with her.
Yep.
I just want to make sure they're still kind of both on board here. Okay.
She's not leaving us.
No,
Correct.
Okay,
she's just not full-time, he's full-time.
okay, gotcha. Well, like we said, we welcome you. Yes, Deborah?
May I make a comment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me get up a little closer. I just want to kind of piggyback on what Doug Postel said about the budget and what you said about the misinformation that is out there. People, when you say taxes, they just freak out. But I just had to look at my tax bill for last year, and I paid about $9 a month for library services.
Okay.
It was like $109 for the year. That is a bargain. I mean, that's ridiculous. So when I look on this little brochure, for a family checkout, one family checkout of a variety of items, it comes to $193. One visit by a family. When you're looking at $9 a month for the most fabulous library building in the state, if this library closes, we'll be the only parish in the whole state that doesn't have a library. That's ridiculous. We have 2 universities, a community college. Surely we will support our library. It's the best deal in town. And I just am amazed that people think we have millions of dollars in some kind of slush fund. We had an operating budget of 1 year in case a tax failed. It did fail. And we are using that money up right now. When that money is gone, there is no more money. And we will close the library. And that would be horrifying. We are an educated community. And surely to goodness, we all can afford $9 a month or less, or slightly more, to use our library. So I just wanted to make that clear. There's no slush fund. We will operate very, very cleanly right now. There's no extra programming going on. We had to let some of our workers go. We're on a very thin budget, and hopefully this budget will pass and we'll wind back out again. But it's been a very rough time for our library, and sad that we've had to go through that.
We also have, Deborah, award-winning high schools or
Right.
schools. They're rated very high within the state.
Right.
And all of that ties together with the attitude, I think, of the community. How can they not see what the library's worth? Except, obviously, there's some that think it's all a sleight of hands and play, which means they don't really trust government, they don't trust this board, and that's a tough one to get around.
That's true, Charles.
the public can look at our budget anytime they want to. It's open to the public. There's nothing hidden. Take a look. It's misinformation. You can't believe everything you see on Facebook. Okay? Use your brain.
Well, Debbie, that's one of my questions I think that I proposed, or I asked a couple of board members at this point. I asked the strategies of how we're going to get it out there to let them see. Will one of it be to publish the library's budget? Come on, Richard, talk to me.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I've been doing. I've been meeting with some groups in town. And I take a copy of it and I give it to them and let them ask me questions about it. And once they understand it, now publishing it on the internet and not being able to explain it, people may not understand it. But if they'll give you an opportunity, I met with a group of coffee guys the other morning that when it started, they were all against it. Well, after I explained it to them and explained the situation, everything is fine. People jump to conclusions and don't get the facts.
Right.
But Marcia and I are meeting with a group tomorrow night to go over the library budget. They look at the budget. I don't know about putting it on the internet without being able to defend it. They don't understand unless you explain to them that you can show them what you're going to have at the end of the year, what the new proposed budget for next year is, and then they understand. And that's what we got to do. We got to educate the public. We have to all, if we can meet with groups or meet with people or talk to people, I think that's what we got to continue to do. I don't know what Rustin Rants is, but I did. And I don't need this in the paper.
Hey, it's a public meeting.
Please. I did get on there the other day to check have you ever checked the 5 or 6 administrators? Have you looked at that?
I don't know about Rustin Rants either.
Folks, all but 1 or 2 of them don't even live in Lincoln Parish.
Is that so?
That's right. So, and I don't know how you defend that, but
You don't.
I think Rustin Raves is in a way to counteract that. There's another group called Rustin Raves.
that's right.
Instead of Rustin Rants,
Right.
it's positive. And a woman posted on there a very clear explanation
That's right, she did.
of why we have this budget. It is a streamlined budget. We have no big giant extra money, and it's all factual. It can be backed up by facts. So.
There's been 2 or 3 on there that
Right.
are for that and on Rustin Ray.
Don't listen to Rustin Rants. That's false information on there a lot of times.
That's right. But
Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate that, Doug.
I have a suggestion along those lines. This is actually Kevin's idea, and I don't get on the Rustin Raves either. I don't care anything about what they have to say, but he suggested that perhaps you schedule a time for like you or one of the board members or Marcy to schedule a time on there and announce on there during this 2-hour block, we're going to be on here and you can ask me anything about this election and about the library.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So, between 5 and 7 on Saturday, get on here and ask me anything you want about the library or the library millage renewal. And then you have an opportunity to react and to interact and answer all those questions that people might have. So that might be a good way of making that.
Oh, sounds very, very good. Board members?
I think that's a great idea, and I kept saying in the past also, and I keep feeling this, why can't some of the board members or librarian or whatever get on Channel 10 News and just talk about the positiveness of the library and what it all has to offer. And just like they do that every morning. They talk about some business or something that goes on in your community on Channel 10 News. Why can't we do that for the library?
Why can't we?
Oh, you're asking me. As long as it's not misconstrued as me campaigning, that's the problem. That's the one issue I'm teetering around.
I don't know if that's free. I mean, I think that they may charge.
Well,
For news? On the news?
I think they may. I'm not sure, but
Would
I
you
know they
check
will
and
pick
see
it up
if
if they
that's-
think it's a big enough story, but I also know that they plan a lot of their stuff out very, very far in advance. And,
Because I know, like, even as a nonprofit, the Junior League in Monroe, we tried to get on there several times for spring market. We've had a lot of trouble with both scheduling and then at other times charging. So, you know, they had free options, but they weren't ever good for our schedules. Like, it was too far out, we weren't, you know, we were too close to our event, couldn't get it done. And this is, are we talking about KNOE?
KNOE channel.
But, I mean, you know,
Can we explore still and find out to see if that's still the position that they're taking? They want us to ante up some dollars or?
I think what she's saying is somebody going to go with them because she's limited on what she can say on that. Is that what you're saying, Marcia?
yeah, because if they ask me specifically about the election, I have to
Yeah.
step back.
Yeah, if you get an opportunity, a board member, chairman, vice chair, somebody needs to go with them.
Sure.
But if you're gonna do this on the internet, it's got to be somebody that's savvy on operating the internet to answer these questions.
And maybe on the radio stations, maybe get some radio time.
Did we get some radio time?
Mr. Brown said to go see him, that he would give us some time.
He will? Okay. I asked Jan if she will, what's Mr. Brown's first name?
Bill?
Bill Brown, okay. And we're gonna follow up on that with the radio station. Thank you very much. Like I said, you're right, Richard, because I know I was called just recently to find out if I will still speak to the NAACP next Sunday. They say, yeah, we know it's gonna be delayed, but would you still come and speak? I'm happy to come and speak and take them some information. Marcia, don't forget that front and back sheet that you're gonna be able to give to me so I can share with them, and to be able to do this as you said, Richard. Okay, other comments? This has been some good discussions tonight. Other comments before we move on to the next item on the agenda? Y'all not getting tired and sleepy with me, are you? Okay, Miss Librarian.
Okay, so statistics, naturally, we typically in August expect to see a slight decrease pretty much across the board. Summer reading, that hype, it jumps numbers all across the board, all the way up. And then, sorry, I forgot to stop my mask on, y'all may not be able to hear me. So that's typically the expectation, especially the first part of August with people getting ready to take the kids back to school. We definitely see a slower crowd. However, I'm happy to report we actually saw an increase in visits in August. Even though our circulation did go down, please keep in mind, I have a suspicion that that is because we saw more items returned in August right before school started and fewer items going out because parents probably weren't taking as many books home with the kids, getting them ready for school, trying to be a little more focused. And I suspect that a lot of the traffic coming in were those same kids coming in and doing their final reports, picking up their prizes for summer and things like that. So we actually have seen some increases in August in a couple of spots. So that was a pleasant surprise. We're noticing our study room usage is steady going up. I expect that will continue. I know that both the universities are officially in session, and we had an event at Tech last week, and we had an event at Grambling about a month ago where we went and met the freshmen that were coming in, told them a little bit about the library. A lot of them were really impressed with all the things that we offer. And so I'm going to expect us to see maybe more student usage. Those study rooms was something they definitely showed an interest in. We're also working right now to do a couple of library card sign-up drives at Grambling. The librarian there reached out to us, Ms. Kent, and she wanted to host a couple of those, and then we're going to try to reach out to Tech to do that as well. So I expect to see some of our usage, especially Hoopla and some of those digital resources, to start going up as well because of that. Other than that, you'll notice programming is down, but that's because August is a slow month for us. We usually take a big chunk out of that. We did continue to do craft bags. We also did a few different things like my book talk on Fridays, and so you'll see some of the numbers aren't bad, but they are different than what you're used to seeing. Other than that, I think that's pretty much the gist of it. Any questions about anything? Okay. Well, that's the statistics.
Well, I don't see that the August circulation is anything to be ashamed of.
No, and
That's
that's
a pretty
not, no,
impressive
that's a
number.
good number.
Compared
Yeah.
to May, it's,
Absolutely, no, we're still seeing impressive checkouts, it's just, you'll notice it went down, and like I said, my suspicion is, the reason I gave is why. But no, those are good numbers. I was impressed with all of our numbers. Okay, so that's it for statistics. Just in general, for the report of things going on, our computers are officially been delivered. Those are the ARPA fund computers. Met with the Parish IT, Brent, and Mike Rainwater came in last Thursday. We powwowed with Amir. We're working on a plan to get those installed and to handle a couple other little projects that go along with that. So that is rolling. I mentioned the library card sign-up drives. We're doing a couple of those. I will report, we did see a sort of about a month ago, a little bit more than a month ago, we were fully booked in the event center, like there weren't a whole lot of empty days through September, October, and then a lot of people started calling and canceling with the public health concern. I'm starting to see a jump back up again. I think I answered like 12 calls today before the meeting. So I'm seeing it book up again, and a lot of inquiries coming in. So this is fluctuating over here a little bit, but understandably so. The community room is officially back open. That's another thing we're seeing book up very, 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 very quickly. For those of you, just remember, community room is the meeting space over on the library side that is free to community organizations and other entities in the parish that want to meet for educational purposes or community purposes, things that benefit the community. And so several civic organizations and groups from the parish are starting to come in and use that. And so you'll see different numbers coming on the statistics in September that'll reflect that. We're seeing a lot of different organizations, and it's also creating some opportunities to have those conversations with them as well, because they're coming into the library, and we're hearing positives. So that space is up and running, so you won't see zeros from that space anymore. Other than that, Jeremy, you got anything you want to throw? No? Okay. All right. Well, I think that's it. I think that's all I got for right now.
We are going to make the transition of the IT.
Yes, we're working on that.
By the end of the month, we'll be totally on stand separate from Lafayette, what Rainwater told us, is that right?
Mike told me it might be a little bit like into October. I mean, maybe I misunderstood him, but.
Okay, well, I thought it was September.
They were originally like going to
Yeah.
go through the whole month of September, but I think they had some delays.
Okay.
But
Anyway, it's in the works, it'll be.
yeah, we're working on it. Yeah, it's going, it's rolling. They came and they were here for several hours Thursday. So they know the grand scope of the current projects and then all that. So
Any word on the construction?
A couple of weeks is.
it's the longest 2 weeks of my life.
I'm not asking you to go get answers, I just wondered if you heard
No,
anything.
I mean, I'll make a phone call, but I haven't heard anything.
I mean, if you hadn't heard anything, that's.
I haven't heard
it's
anything.
sort of slowed down.
It's
Can
almost.
I ask about the sprinkler system? Because when I came in a while ago, the sprinklers are water going uphill and going
That's
in.
theirs. Oh, so you'll notice that's white piping that they've run. They're watering down that,
Settling the base.
they're settling what they laid.
And then I did make contact with the construction superintendent, and they repaired all of the things that they broke and tied it back in. They took care of all of it.
Good.
Yeah, but what you're seeing spraying over there, that's part of their construction stuff.
Okay.
That's not our sprinklers going off over there.
So we don't know when they're going, they got the curb up, I don't know when they're going.
I can help you with that.
Okay.
They're building
Because
another-
nobody's talking to me.
They're Down one in Bossier City, maybe they're spending most of it.
Well, I know they're building one in, West Monroe,
Also.
Monroe.
There's one in Bossier going in.
And I thought the one in Bossier was about done. That's what I heard.
It's close.
Not that I can tell.
But they were breaking ground in Monroe or West Monroe the same time they were breaking ground, I think, on this project here with the road. And I believe it's the same contract.
Doug, about the road, will we be able to go back out there? or
Yes,
is it-
ma'am. When they finish, yes.
Oh, okay, it's not closed permanently?
No,
No, ma'am.
Okay, I was wondering about that. Okay.
no, no.
Okay, anything else? Marcy, I must give you credit for all that you're doing. I think, I have to tell Marcy sometimes too to slow her roll because we do want her to be around. But I'd like to let everybody know that you have been yeoman's going out here and doing the meetings and what have you because people have been talking about it as well. And we appreciate that. Okay?
Well,
Any
Kenny, what you said earlier, we have 2 news outlets now in Lincoln Parish. So we're getting good coverage from both, and I appreciate them.
Yes, and I was going to add that too. May I say that Jeremy, was that I saw in the paper yesterday or today, the ad for the library, was that your creation with the books and the books? Who did that one?
I think the leader puts that
The
together.
leader put that
Yeah.
The
together.
leader?
That's when we organized the, is that the $50
Mr.
one or the
Powell?
column?
That's the ad. Yeah,
That's
it's,
the
it's
ad.
all inclusive, but it's
Yeah.
an ad. It's a
Okay.
column first week and the little ad on the third week.
Okay,
You'll be seeing a monthly,
okay.
Thing like
Yes, but this one caught my attention. I don't know if it's in today's paper, or it might have been yesterday's paper, where you listed everything, you had a stack of books on both sides.
That was real neat.
That, I thought was your work, Jeremy. I gave you credit for that.
He'll take credit for it, I'm sure,
That
but
was
that was the
like
leader.
that Jeremy would have done. So I want to thank you and let you know that we should
Just-
read the paper
just-
now. There it is. See, I know how to read
We
that paper.
have design people here.
So it says calendar of events. Down here like that with the books. Okay? So we thank you because it gets our attention. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
but there is one online. There's Mr. Wilkinson is writing
Yeah.
for it.
And he
Mr.
did a good
Wilkerson?
article the
He
other
did a
day.
good job. the
Mr.
other day
Wilkerson,
after the-
online, would you talk to me about that so I can click it on my phone too?
Oh yes, free subscription service online. You can just go on and look it up, and you can subscribe to it for free.
Oh, I can?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, why am I
absolutely.
missing out on that?
Mhm.
And he wrote a good article the other day about after the election was postponed.
Okay. Talk to me, please, afterwards, all right?
Absolutely.
Because I do read. Readers are leaders, and readers do succeed. Okay, for the good of the cause, Jan, oh, I'm sorry, Doug has his finger up.
I'd like to make one observation, if I may, that I came to my mind. As you're out talking to people, this may be another good talking point for the renewal. And this is not any sort of indictment on our school system. I don't want you to misunderstand. This is because they face their own financial challenges as well, and I'm sure that's what stands behind these decisions. But there's a trend lately as schools lose their librarians not to replace those positions.
Wow.
I know that's happened recently in the last couple of years at Russell Junior High and Shooter High School. As those librarians have left, they have not replaced those positions. And I only say that in the fact that those students are going to have to rely more and more on their public library for a lot of resources.
Yeah.
So that may be something worth mentioning. Okay?
And that's a statewide trend.
Yes, it's true everywhere, yes.
So along that line, we were working on getting library cards
Yes,
through the school system. Is
yes.
It's still ongoing?
We're still working on that.
So is that progressing? Are we having a problem?
No problems. I met with Mr. Young a couple of weeks ago. We drafted a sort of a mock contract thing, and that his people are reading through it, and Autographics people are reading through it, and they'll come back with some feedback, and then we'll get to the brass tacks of the actual. Once the paperwork is done, we'll be able to roll.
So if the paperwork gets bogged down, let me know. I might
Oh, okay.
I wonder why.
make a little.
Oh, but I should have
I
added
wonder
this,
why.
I should have added this to our, to my report, I'm sorry. Spark boxes went out. That was another thing the school board was working on us with. And they did get us those names of those children for the spark boxes, and Mr. Young helped us
Very
with
good.
delivering on that, so
Very good.
those are going out.
And I might add one other thing too, Doug, you jogged my memory. Someone asked me if I would do something with Ministerial Alliance with the pastors and what have you. And I did a little blurb to send out for the radio stations. They're doing robo-calling for the churches. And the little thing I said, it's not a hoax, it's not a joke, it's a fact that the library will close if this tax is not passed. So we're trying to get it from as many avenues as we can to let people know when you said that. We're not playing and we're not crying wolf. Somebody said crying wolf or something. But we're not doing that. It's for real. If it does not happen, this will happen. Okay, Jan, I want to come back to you for the good of the cause.
Good of the cause, I think we're doing a good job, and just keep up the good work, and appreciate everybody that's working, you know, the police jury, the board, press.
Okay,
I appreciate it.
okay, thank you. Mary Jo?
Well, I think although it was a big disappointment that the village did not, or the vote did not pass, I think since that time, a lot of positive things have come from that. I think making more progress in the community as far as what we're doing and what we have to offer.
Yes, I think so too, Mary Jo. Richard?
One other observation regarding the tax. Lincoln Parish's economy is education. And this library is a very vital part of that. We've got 2 universities, we've got school systems, some of the best school systems, as mentioned earlier in the state. Education, if we didn't have those universities in Lincoln Parish, our economy, that is our economy. So we need to support this library as part of it.
Very, very good, because that's why I'm going to say something now. Amy?
Yeah, I think that, I have seen the opposition, I have seen the comments, I've seen the arguments, and I feel like people that were strongly opposed to this and still are, came out and voted in the last election, and it was a 17.2% voter turnout. Basically, 3,600, I think, voters is what decided this. So we need to get more people out to vote, because I think that there's a large amount of support that just didn't vote last time. I don't know, I think the tax would have passed with better turnout, with more voters. So we need to get people out there voting. This postponement is unfortunate because it confuses people about the date and about when to early vote and when to absentee ballot and all of that, but we just need to encourage people, check with the Secretary of State, get those dates in front of them, let them know when to do it, where to go, and that's what we need to do.
Okay, thank you. Sandra?
I don't have anything to say.
Okay,
I'm thankful for everybody and that we all working together.
okay. Thank you. Charles?
Well, I shouldn't say it, but
Well,
that's
no.
never stopped me before.
I'm going to stop you now. You said you should have said it. I'm just kidding, Charles. Go ahead.
Seriously though, folks, there's a cultural shift going on. There's something weird that people have got infected by COVID that didn't test positive or something. But there's just some stupid stuff out there. Like you're saying about all this clandestine money that's being hidden. And that's hard to fix.
It is.
That's where the stupid comes in. And that's where we have people who don't get out and vote, who rely on that sort of information and say, well, my vote's not going to matter anyway. They're going to do what they want to do anyway. They're saying that about the library. Well, they'll do that. They'll do what they want to. The money's there. Look, I don't know how to fix it. I wish I did. But I think we just continue talking the up points, and there are lots of them. There's plenty of them. So we just have our work cut out and talk to people that are willing to listen, if you can find them.
Okay, we're going to beat the wishes. Thank you, Charles. Marcy?
I just want to say that everybody who's gone out and spoken and put out signs and done everything they have to kind of help push this. That I'm personally appreciative. I know that the staff has worked their tails off, and that this wouldn't happen if it weren't for them as well. So I want to give a shout out to them for braving the storm and sticking it out.
And we'd like to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And personally, I think it's a positive that it was a delay. There's a person who's greater than all of us. For the reason why we did not do the October, but we'll do the November. Things happen for reasons, and it's my belief that there's a good reason for this happening. And my belief too, my system of believing and thinking, something good will come out of it. I too would like to have gotten it behind me, because I was really waiting for October the 10th to arrive, okay? You all heard me say October 10th is gonna be the day we're gonna celebrate. But now I have to wait until November 14th,
13th.
the day after.
Although my brother's getting married on October 9th, so I had previously told him if I'm just crying at the reception, don't pay attention to me. So now I get to enjoy the wedding without the stress of the election.
Well, we all have various reasons, and we're doing things with it, and it's still, like I said, I really want to thank you. This board has given me the most motivation, because when I see you come together to work, we have been able to put our thoughts, even though we have differences of opinion, but for the good of the cause, we are working together. And I thank you for writing those checks.
But it's sort of ours to give away. If we don't do what we're supposed to do, then we're going to give it away
Okay.
to those who, again, are so negative about so many different things.
Yes, yes.
We need to be positive and I guess vote people. Maybe we don't want to do that. We've got a job cut out for us.
Well, it was my sign over the door when I was principal. Be positive or be quiet. Okay? If you're not positive, don't come in and say anything. Now, Charles, as you normally would do for us,
I'm sorry?
as you normally would do for us.
For me? You're talking to me?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm busy. Move that we adjourn.
I second.
Okay. Move
Thank you,
properly
ma'am.
second. Questions, discussions? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming.